So I thought I'd do another video on hot waxing relics. I got a bigger container here. I'm going to do start to finish to show you the process. So I have, it's really nice to have a digital thermometer or a baker's thermometer. As a cooking thermometer would work as well. But basically I like to keep the wax between 250 and 300. Anything over 300, I think it gets a little sketchy. So I also made this little tool, just a wood handle with an iron rod. It's like a nut with a rare earth magnet at the end of it. And it's good to retrieve stuff out of the hot wax. But, so here we have some artifacts from the barracks. Let's throw these four. These are 4 bayonets that were found out of the blacksmith shop, and you can tell that they were worked on by a blacksmith. Particularly this one, you can see where he was working that metal around and making a point. So what I do is I put these in the hot wax, and they'll start to heat up and get as hot as boiling water. And we'll just watch the whole thing to show you the process, because I sort of skipped. So you just wait and wait and wait, and that iron will eventually heat up to the point of boiling water, and you will start to see bubbles someday, somehow. Surprised it hasn't boiled by now. Come on. Heat up. I think you can start to see little fine bubbles coming up from the iron below. And it is. See how it's just starting to boil. Bubbles are starting to come up. That is the water that you think is dry on the iron. It's really not. It's not dry at all. There's water molecules stuck on the surface of the iron that if you were to seal over this with something, the water would be trapped under the surface and it would eventually cause corrosion. So you can see now that it's starting to boil, and those are the bubbles of steam coming up off that iron. And basically you just let it go until there are no observed boiling anymore. And that may take 5 minutes, it may take 10 minutes. It really depends on the artifact itself and how much water's in it. But usually 5 to 10 minutes and it will be done. For then, once you pull them out, you will pat dry them with a rag or paper towel to get the excess off. Because you can see just by me dipping this tool in the wax, you can see how the excess wax on that dried white. If you pat the excess down, it'll just be sort of a clear finish like what's doing onto that wood. But you can see now that it's starting to come to an end. I don't see any more bubbles. Yep, there went one. And the temperature is still 250 degrees, 260. So it's more than hot enough to evaporate and boil off the water off the relics. But let's just pretend that they're done. The next step would be to reach in there and grab one out of the hot wax, and then you would immediately burn your fingers like I just did. You would immediately pat off the excess, and that would be basically it. And that is done. Then just let it dry. And that's basically the whole process.